Chord progressions made easy, the dream of every music theory TikTok viewer. And that'll probably stay a dream, because they can be pretty complicated, at least at first. But hopefully this video will give you a good place to start when it comes to understanding the how and why behind chord progressions. Now before we get into it, just know that you could move from just about any chord to any other chord and find a way to justify it. So please do not view these as hard and fast rules. So what are chord progressions? A chord progression is just a sequence of chords. Any sequence of chords can be considered a chord progression. But there are certain pathways of chords that are much more common than others, and these are the ones you want to learn first before branching out into anything too obscure. The goal of a chord progression is to take us on a journey from one place to another, and usually they accomplish this goal by use of tension and release. We start at a place of rest, take a journey and build tension in the music, and then come back to rest. This concept of tension and release can be seen in both the smallest phrase in music, as well as across very large musical forms. This system of tension and release is what's known as functional harmony. Each chord has a job that serves a certain purpose, and the greater system that it operates in is known as tonality. Most music that we know and listen to follows the system of tonality and functional harmony. There are types of harmony that do not follow this convention, known as non-functional harmony, but that's best saved for another day. The chords within this system generally fall into one of three categories: tonic chords, subdominant chords, and dominant chords. The tonic chord is your home base, the chord where the music is going to feel most at rest. It is your one chord in the key you are in. In the key of D major, this will be your D major chord. The sixth chord in any key can also act as a substitute tonic chord. In the key of D major, that would be B minor. The reason for this is that these two chords share two common tones, and the tonic is within the sixth chord. Most of the time, chord progressions will begin and end on a tonic chord. There are times when this is not the case, but for now, I'd just follow this rule. The next and just as important kind of chords that you will see are dominant chords. Dominant chords are the tension chords. They create tension in the music that wants to go back to the tonic. The strongest dominant in any key is the chord that's built off the fifth scale degree. So in the key of D major, this will be A major. The most basic chord progression that you will run into is a 1-5-1 progression. Tonic moves to dominant and then back to tonic. The 7 chord in any key also has dominant function and can serve as a substitute dominant chord. So this progression will give you a slightly different sound with the same functions. And here's what those two progressions would look like in every key. The third kind of chord you will run into is called a subdominant chord. Subdominant chords will create motion within a chord progression and usually will come between the tonic and dominant chords. In any major key, the subdominant chords are the 2 chord and the 4 chord. In D major, these chords will be E minor and G major. Probably the most common chord progression in all of music, the 1-4-5-1 progression, contains a tonic moving to a subdominant and then back to a tonic chord. In D major, that's D, G, A, D. D is home, G creates motion, and A creates tension. Here's what that would look like in every key. We could add a 6th chord to act as a tonic extension and then get what I call the grease progression, 1-6-4-5-1. The 4 chord could be switched out with the 2 chord, and that would give us a 2-5-1. One of the most common progressions in jazz. So these are examples of very basic and very common chord progressions that you should become familiar with, but these are definitely not the only options. This is just step 1. But before moving on to more complex progressions, there's one thing that we have to go over first, and that is chord inversions. Chord inversions are when you take the same notes of a chord, but stack them in a different order. So for example, this is C major, but this is also C major, and so is this. We get 3 slightly different sounds, but with the same harmony. The first one with the E in the bass would be referred to as first inversion, and the second one with the G in the bass would be considered second inversion. There are 2 different ways to write this, either in the standard Roman numeral notation or the version that is more commonly seen in jazz. The jazz one is a little more straightforward. But why would someone do that? Well, it creates different sounds and allows for smoother voice leading. So where do we go from here? Now, instead of just thinking about tension as binary, on or off, I want you to think about it as a spectrum. Some combination of chords are going to create more tension than others. So let's go back to the very basic 1-4-5-1 progression. What could we do to turn up the tension on this? Well, why exactly does that dominant chord, the 5 chord, make us feel tense? It's because of tendency tones, which are certain scale degrees that want to resolve to others. The most common being scale degree 7 wanting to go to 1, scale degree 4 wanting to go to 3, and scale degree 2 wanting to go to 1 as well. The third of the dominant chord is the leading tone of the tonic, which is also scale degree 7, and the leading tone wants to resolve back to the tonic. Here in the key of C, the leading tone is B. The fifth of the dominant is the second degree of the tonic, and that also wants to resolve back to it. So to add tension, we'll want to add some more tendency tones. We can do this by adding a 7th on top of the dominant. Here, the dominant is G major, and the 7th above that is F. That gives us the 4th scale degree that now wants to resolve down to the 3rd. This version of the progression with the dominant 7th is probably even more common than the plain 1-4-5-1. If we wanted even more tension, we could add another tendency tone. The 6th scale degree usually wants to resolve back down to the 5th. So if we add that 6th scale degree on top of the dominant chord, we get a G add 9 chord, and that sounds like this. That A in the chord will want to resolve back down to the 5th scale degree G. And if we wanted to go really crazy, we could make that a flat 9th and get even more tension out of it, with A flat wanting to resolve back down to G. And to keep your brain from turning to mush trying to understand all of this theory, I'd recommend today's sponsor, Brilliant. Brilliant is an online learning platform that helps you become a better thinker and problem solver, and it does this through thousands of interactive lessons in math, science, programming, data analysis, and AI that lets you experiment and play with the concepts it's teaching, a method proven to be 6 times more effective than someone just talking at you. Brilliant has a wide variety of courses to choose from, but this month I've been checking out the Circuits course. The Circuits course and all of the other science courses on Brilliant help you develop your scientific intuition through visual, interactive problem solving that gets you hands-on with key concepts. Understanding these concepts will help you think like an engineer and solve real-world problems. The Brilliant app will allow you to learn from anywhere with fun, hands-on lessons. You can level up from home or on the go with just a few minutes a day. So to get started with Brilliant for free today and get 20% off the annual premium subscription, visit brilliant.org/Jake Thurston or scan the QR code on screen. Or you can click the link in the description. Thanks to Brilliant for the sponsor, and now back to the video. What if we wanted to add tension to move towards a chord other than the tonic? We can do that with a secondary dominant. It's easiest to think of these as the dominant of whatever chord you are trying to emphasize. So let's add tension to the tension chord. We want to find the dominant of the dominant. So in this case, the dominant is G major and the dominant of that is D major. And we'll add a 7th C natural to that D major for good measure. And we can stick this chord in between the 4 chord and the 5 chord and even use some inversion to make it more smooth. Here's an example of a simple secondary dominant progression in every key. Okay, but what if we want the opposite? What if we want something less tense, something a little smoother? Well, the first thing that we could do is just take out that 5 chord completely. And now we have a little motion in the chord progression, a soft push and pull, but nothing crazy. Usually subdominant chords lead to dominant chords, but there's no law stopping you from using them in this way. In fact, there's a lot of religious music that ends with a 1-4-1 cadence, which is called a plagal or an amen cadence that gives the piece a soft ending. If we wanted a little more push towards the tonic, we could try a 3 chord. It contains the leading tone and can act as a weak dominant. We could try going back and forth between the 2 tonic chords, 1 and 6. What if we combine some of these ideas? Let's use the 1-6-4-5-1, but in a different order. This chord progression should sound familiar.
Same 4 chords for every song. It's dead simple to write a pop hit. Just 1, 2, 3, 4 chords.
1, 5, 6, 4. Here we go straight to the dominant, move to our secondary tonic, then go to the 4 chord with a plagal cadence and a soft landing back to the tonic. So now you can turn up or down the tension by using different kinds of chords and voicings to get across the mood you are looking for. For the last section, we'll look at the color of chords. What I mean by color is chords that serve the same function but have a different sound. And the easiest way to achieve this idea is through mode mixture. Mode mixture is when we borrow chords from one mode and then use them in another. If you are unfamiliar with modes, that's okay, we only really need to know 2 of them for this to work, major and minor. All of the progressions we have done so far are in major keys, but we can borrow chords from the parallel minor modes in each of these keys. By parallel minor, I mean the same root, but in minor. So the parallel minor of D major is D minor. G major is G minor, etc. This is most common with the tonic and subdominant chords. So in the key of G, the tonic is G, and the 2 subdominant chords are A minor and C major. We could change the color of any of these chords by subbing out the minor mode equivalent of them. G major would become G minor, A minor would become A diminished, and C major would become C minor. Here's an example of what that could sound like. So this is barely scratching the surface of chord progressions. There's a whole lot more to say. If you want another video like this, let me know.